Ron Slay's a young man. Ron, have you ever had to buy an HVAC unit yet? Are you at that point?
No.
That's a real kick in the you-know-what.
No, I haven't had to experience that yet. I'm happy for it too.
Yeah, there you go. That's a little surprise. Potential 5, depending on how big your house is, 5-digit surprise that you get. Like,
Yeah.
I'm always like, do you take payments?
No, I want no pause of that.
Ron's appearance brought to you by our friend Zach England, a personal injury attorney in Chattanooga. They can go toe-to-toe with the insurance company's attorneys and get you what you deserve, Zach England. Zach's got your back, brings us Ron Slay. Ron, you're all over the place. Tell us about your travel over the past 16 hours.
It's been adventurous. I traveled to Starkville, and it's not easy to get into Starkville.
No, it is not.
No, as a player, this is my first time going down there since I played, and it seemed to be much easier flying in there when I was going with the University of Tennessee than going on my own. Yeah, man, I had to fly into Tupelo, which was an hour flight, so that was cool. Get on a little jet and get on down there, and then the rental car place closes at 5. My flight got in at 7, so I had to take an Uber. The only Uber out there from Tupelo to Starkville was a 2-door Kia Uber. So the woman told me, you can just throw your bag in the back and hop in the front. I was like, well, all right, I'll do that. Took an hour drive there. And, man, I will say, though, there aren't many atmospheres like the SEC. You know, in football, basketball, when they support their team, dog, it's one of a kind. So the hospitality was great. Couldn't find nothing to eat after the game. Would have been an 8 o'clock game. Everything was closed at about 10. One place was open. I forgot the name of it, but it's supposed to be a staple there. And it was open until 12, but the kitchen closed at 10. And they didn't say that on Google. So I went in there, stomach rumbling, and didn't get nothing to eat. So
that's like Tommy Boy. You should have talked him into turning on the fryer and throw the wings in there.
And you know what? I was about to, Dave. I was about to, but I went on with the Waffle House, and guess what? 3 other players were in there. 3 key players from Mississippi State. So I was like, oh, I am in the right place. So I felt like home.
There you go. My last memory of Starkville is just getting in the car and saying I'm driving all the way home, and it was a night game, and I got home at 5 a.m. and my wife said, that's dangerous. You shouldn't do that. I was like, I want out of Starkville.
Dude, that's what I was about to do this morning. I had Uber set and Lyft set to pick me up at 5:30. 5:40 came, no car came. Nobody was driving Uber or Lyft. Luckily, I just found a car service to be able to get me to Tupelo, and he was booking it. He said rules are for when you have to abide by them. We don't have to abide by them right now, so he got me there.
Starkville is the only place where you pay for your hotel and chickens and pies. They're still in the barter. They're still in the barter system.
Are they hazing you to start at SEC Network? You have to go to the 2 worst SEC towns, Auburn and Starkville.
Hey, guess what, Caleb? I said, man, this is how you make your bones right here. I'm on the chitlin circuit right now. Soon I may be off of it. I may be off, so I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna enjoy it right now.
I know you weren't at the Tennessee game, but I'm sure you heard Zakai Zeigler, not only a key player, but a fan favorite. That was just heartbreaking. And we hope that something magically comes out where he's perfectly fine, but it doesn't look like that's the case. What are your thoughts on him suffering that injury?
Man, heartbreaking is the exact way to put it. Like, the only thing I can remember like this is Hendon Hooker. You know, with this type of impact for a guy, I think Hendon's was worse because you knew his career was coming to an end. At least Zakai will be able to, you know, rehab, and we'll get to see him again at the University of Tennessee. But man, that is tough, man. When you look at one piece that's been steady for them and consistent throughout the entire year, regardless of his play, but a person you can always rely on to be out there, it was Zakai. You know, and the energy that he brought to the game. He spearheaded the defense offensively. When he was rolling, the team was rolling. So that's tough, man. You always try to look for the heart and soul of the team, and he is by all stretch of the imagination the heart and soul. You hate to lose that, but I will say this team is conditioned for replacing people on the fly. You know, and Zakai's a little different because he's at that point guard spot. But man, I hate that for him, man. Everything he's going through, you always look for that to be an outlet. You know, being able to get on the court and relieve some stress or whatever it may be going on in your reality. You get to go play a game, and it takes you away from all that. And man, when you get that ACL or whatever it may be, I just know me because I immediately go back to when it happened for me. That was, oh man, that was horrible. That was horrible.
I'm forgive me. I didn't remember you suffering an ACL. When was that again?
Yeah, my junior year, in the middle of the year. We were about 3 SEC games in. We were playing Syracuse at home. Tore my ACL my junior year and was out the rest of the season. Kind of left Vince and Marcus Hayslip on their own that season. So it was tough, man. That's tough. You feel kind of disconnected. Like that's how actually me and Chad Newman, we already had a good relationship, but me and Chad Newman really developed a relationship because I was with him all day long trying to get back, you know, and it's tough, man, because you want to be around your team for moral support, but at the same time, you drive yourself crazy thinking what you could be doing. You're trying to do coaching, but you're trying to do rehab, and you just get in your head, man. You just got to get over the melter part, but I'm sure Zakai, he'll be fine though.
You say this team is prepared to overcome something like that. What do you mean by that?
I'm meaning that when you got to fill in spots, particularly with the point guard spot, you got guys that have played the point. Josiah came in playing the point. Santi, can play the point. Jamal Meshack has done a good job of playing the point. Tyreek Key was starting at the point early in the season. So you have viable options to put at that spot, which is different than when you miss a guy like Josiah or Julian Phillips at the same time on the wing. You don't really have guys to substitute for that the length, the height, the ability to switch multiple positions. Meshack does a great job at the 3, but he's 6'3", 6'4", and it's different when you subbing in for 6'6" and 6'8". You can't really counter that. So it's different at that spot. And I think the way that what we're really gonna miss him at is the defensive end, being able to spearhead the defense and be able to get after point guards and disrupt their offense. But offensively, you should be fine because the way you run your offense is a body movement, ball movement type offense. It's not necessarily a guy coming down, holding up his finger and pointing you in a direction. You come over in, he got to initiate the play. A lot of people can initiate the plays, even from the 4 spot. When Josiah's at the 4 spot, you can get plays started that way. So I think it's easier to fill in, but what you can't fill in is heart. You can't fill in his heart. Another guy that's going to take that big shot that's made it with the experience going down the stretch. You got other guys that are going to come in, but what does that do to the rotation? I do think they can overcome it. I think they showed that they can do that. And you hate to say that like you just pushing them to the side, but man, one thing he wouldn't want this team to do is just sit there and sulk over them and be like, oh man, what we would do without them. He want them to keep pushing.
Ryan, what is it about this team that, they just blow out Arkansas 2 weeks ago? They beat Alabama, I thought pretty convincingly. It was 9-point win. Those two teams kind of remind me of each other. They both love to push the tempo and push the pace and play really aggressive. Mm-hmm. And is it me, or does that play into Tennessee's defense hands? When you try to do controlled chaos, they're going to force you to turn the ball over, and they're going to create transition buckets for themselves in that situation.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it, Caleb. And then a lot of it, too, is just matchups. You look at the matchups and the way they're allowed to play when they play these teams. Arkansas isn't a team that is very physical outside of the 2 bigs and the Mitchell brothers that play down low. They're more of a finesse type, with guards and wings that like to get in space and get down. They'll finish with contact, but as far as getting open and doing the little things like Tennessee, man, they pose something different. So you're right with Arkansas and Alabama being similar. Both of those guys, they like to play with the floor space. They like to play with the guys with the ball in their hand. Either you're shooting the 3 or you're getting all the way to the cup. Arkansas doesn't shoot as well, but they both have similar style players as far as being long, rangy, not bulky type guys, and that plays well for a physical team like Tennessee. I think that's why in the matchup with Kentucky, it kind of goes that way, because Kentucky is a physical type team, and they do got big guys on the wings and in the post that can match that physicality, and they kind of need that because they can't shoot the ball as well outside of a guy like Reeves. So it's contrast of styles, and that bodes well for Tennessee. And it also helps going into tournament play when you're allowed to play a little bit more physical. Tennessee, to me, has an upper hand when it comes to that. They got an advantage, if you will, when you get ready to get into tournament play, because officials let you play physical.
Let me ask you a double question here, bad journalism, but who fills in for him just from a production standpoint, and I mean the defensive end as well, and B, who fills in for him as an emotional leader standpoint?
Oh man, B first. Who fills in with the emotional part of it? That's gonna be tough. I think Josiah can do it, because you've seen a little bit more emotion out of him as of late when he gets the opportunity to play. I think he sees that window closing. He knows this is his last run, and he knows what they need from him. Man, Zakai, his voice, like he talks a lot out there too. I'm trying to. I don't know if it. That's a rough. That's a rough. I would have to lean on Josiah though to pick that up. I think he's made for it. He's been in the situation. He can handle the responsibility of it, being an emotional leader, getting guys fired up. I saw him in his last game being a little bit more talkative these last two games. So I think he can do that. As far as who fills that void for him defensively, nobody in the nation can fill that void. I think it's going to have to be a collective effort. Tyreek Key is going to have to get after it. I do think Jamal Meshack can be a guy that can guard the ball and get after it like Zakai did. Not as far as 94 feet, but half court and in. I think he's a guy that can apply pressure, disturb people with his length, and just not be able to let guys run their offensive sets as far as the point guard goes, to the comfort that they would want to. I think he's a guy that can really get after it, and he doesn't have to me, really play with looking over the shoulder at the point guard spot when you're defending the ball, as he would if he was on the wing defending multiple guys. BJ Edwards is a guy too, man. Like, I've been watching him in high school a lot and got to coach against him. Man, he's a gamer. He's a gamer. Now, I don't know how quick he's picking up the college speed and everything, but when you talk about a guy that can pick up 94 feet, he's a sneaky good defender. You know, because of his length, he doesn't look that fast, but he got some long strides to make up ground. So I'm interested to see if he picks it up and he takes on the opportunity, takes the opportunity to jump out there and kind of use his length and his wherewithal, where you really don't have to do a lot of thinking when you're pressuring the ball. Just keep him in front, get after him, and disturb him. I wonder if BJ Edwards could kind of jump in that role and start getting about 8 to 10 minutes a game.
Interesting. Ron, appreciate you as always. I know you're working like heck. Philip Fulmer used to say that, and that's what you're doing. So logging a lot of hours. Thanks for making some time for us. Get a nap in before your show there on 104.5 The Zone in Nashville with Don and Brent. Keep crushing it, man. We appreciate it, and we're happy for you with all the SEC gigs that are coming up. And, you know, I'll just go ahead and text Reese Davis and say, watch out.
You ain't got to tell them watch out. Just tell them scoot over a little bit. I'm cool with going in. I'll scoot over.
Just a little seat. Be careful, Ron. I appreciate it, man.
I appreciate y'all guys.